Let's go. Does Tesla need PR? That's a good question. Let's talk about that. I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla weekend. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. You are watching the condensed version, perhaps, or the live version. You're watching whichever version's on screen. This goes out Fridays on the second channel, My Tesla Live, and a condensed version of it goes out on the weekend at My Tesla Weekend. Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. And the extended version has a Q&A at the end and more ums and ahs, which are complimentary. A quick thank you to my newest Patreon, Gary. Welcome aboard, Gary. I'm so glad to have you. So I don't know if you know this, but there's a little company out of California called Tesla. And October of 2020, it seems they officially... I'm echoing, huh? Am I echoing, you guys? Am I echoing? In October of 2020, Tesla dissolved its PR department officially. And that was only when it became official. Apparently, they had been fading a bit for the previous year. Their head of PR had left the previous December. Other people juggled around. Emails were no longer being returned. And then they just made it official. Elon has had some harsh comments for the press, which he believes treats them unfairly, which of course the press does sometimes. So if they're not being fair, why have relations with them at all? Why not just shut it down? For a bunch of reasons, I would argue. Tesla crash response shows what happens when you ditch PR. You remember this story? It was last year, wasn't it? When two men hopped in Tesla, cranked it up to about 120 on a side street, and hit a tree and died. Now, it took quite a while to find out that no, FSD was not engaged, and it couldn't have been, and it wouldn't have taken them to those speeds, and they had been drinking. Yeah, we seem to... It would have been nice to have a rapid response to that. It would have been nice to have people dedicated to addressing that. I think that would have been useful. And instead, what we get are people like me and Electrified and Tesla Daily, no relation, who have to do the PR work for them. And it's difficult because we don't know what's going on any more than you. We do have more insight just by the nature of following it as closely and obsessively as we do, but that's not the same thing. Elon Musk says no to a new Tesla PR department, doesn't believe in manipulating public opinion. Public opinion is being manipulated. You don't have to be dishonest with your PR department. You can just correct lies. You can, please hire a PR team again. Well, I find it more helpful to read and follow individual journalists rather than publications. Yeah. Other companies spend money on advertising and manipulating public opinion. Tesla focuses on the product. I trust the people. Have you met the people? Because the people are idiots. Carlin always said, think of how dumb the average person is and realize that half of them are dumber than that. There are the misconceptions around Tesla, even among smart people, is staggering. Polestar's commercials say, we're not going to Mars because we're going to focus on Earth. Who are you talking about? There's no car company going to Mars. Do you mean SpaceX? Because what are you talking about? Now, as a PR person, I wouldn't necessarily think that needs to be responded to, but it would make for some funny opportunities. At least get a sassy Twitter bot like they have at Wendy's. She's always fun, or used to be. Now, you can always just tweet at Elon to get your satisfaction. Or you could be like Benyel Dariush. Where's my car, bro? Yeah, he had to have a press release with cameras and reporters and all that just to say, hey man, I won the match. Where's my car? He did get his car. I don't have that kind of opportunity, and neither do you. It would be nice to to have some kind of team to respond to those of us who are not winning fighters, I guess. Tesla expands legal and external relations workforce in China. Do you know what external relations means? It means PR. So Tesla does have a PR department in China. And that's because they had a spate of negative publicity and they needed to address it. Sound familiar? You know what kind of stuff you get? You get stuff like this. This was put out today by Tesla Greater China, the official channel. It shows accidents not happening thanks to Tesla's incredible safety measures. And then it goes on to show, we'll turn it down a little. It goes on to show actual test footage. It goes on to show actual drivers with actual experience. I made the order, official, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, great. And these people are telling their story of how Tesla's autonomy has saved them, has made their lives better and safer. Oh, that was almost an accident. The response I've seen from this on Reddit from people who are Chinese natives, Chinese nationals, is that it resonates with them. I think it's a great clip. 7.5 minutes. Who knows what it took to put together? So it's not that Tesla has a wholesale disbelief in PR, just one in the US. Tesla's Elon Musk posts data from disastrous New York Times test drive. Remember this one? It's back in what, 13, 14, 20 something? It's a very old one. Got to be a date on here somewhere. 2013. The New York Times took out a Tesla Model S and drove it until it stranded them on the highway of electrification. The only problem was the reviewer did not know that Tesla has a wealth of data being stored in these cars' logs. So they were able to see that not only did it get him to his destination, but then he had to drive circles when he got there to make it run out of juice. And yeah, of course it had to be towed away. Of course it did. And yeah, the story was fake. It was fake. And the PR department jumped all over it, addressed it, took care of it. Do you remember Tesla versus Top Gear? Their story was similar. They had already written the script that the car was going to die. But you see, Top Gear is an entertainment show, not a news show. And the case was dismissed, largely in part due to that. But at the very least, Tesla got ahead of the story. They were able to get the word out before the review ran. Sorry, entertainment ran. Ridiculous. So how much does PR cost? Well, now, these next two I'm going to show you, these have to do with hiring a firm rather than employees. I think Tesla would be wise to hire employees, but even a top-rated firm for $20,000 to $50,000 a month can get the job done. $20,000 to $50,000 a month. That's what? 2-3 cars? 2-3 cars worth? Now, I know you're selling every car you make, but that's a small investment. On this one, they're saying $10,000 a month, $100,000 might be a little high. But even if you're looking at your own full staff, even if it's $500,000 a year, what are we talking? $40,000 a month? That's 3 cars? 3 cars worth to cover $500,000 a year in PR. That's valuable. I would argue. Forbes says Here's some reasons that Tesla needs a PR department: to provide reporters with accurate information. Yeah. To cultivate better relations with the press. You absolutely need that. Let's face it, journalists are people, and like everyone else, they have opinions, and they may run counter to the story you want to tell. Look at how favorable some reporters in the EV space become when they get a chance to go out, when they get invited to a special event. Even if they have to pay their own way, it improves the attitude. And maybe that's manipulation, but everyone else is doing it. Are you going to unilaterally disarm? I mean, you can. I think that's one way of doing it. To nip negative stories in the bud. Yeah, that to me is reason number one. We've got to... The fear, uncertainty, and doubt spread by the short sellers, the fudsters, the Q-sters is powerful. And you and I can say that, well, people see through that. I spend enough time on social media to tell you, they do not. Many people do not. People are still complaining about panel gaps without ever looking at the competitors' panel gaps. Without looking at what panel gaps look like today, they're quite good. They're quite consistent. They're the sort of thing you would never notice. I never noticed panel gaps until I heard about it from Tesla. First thing I did is went out to my car, which at the time was less than 2 years old, basically new, and it has massive gaps. It's a Nissan. Are we saying Nissan doesn't know how to build cars? You can argue that. To prevent Musk from saying things that hurt the brand. Yeah, that's not going to happen. No amount of publicity is going to make him stop doing that. Now, well, they're fine without it because they do sell cars as fast as they can make them. Yes, but let's improve the experience. Musk is Tesla's PR department. Yes, I'd like him working on things more important than some dude from Salinas having an issue with a charger port. You know, especially if he works for the LA Times, you know. I don't know. There's a lot of... Not having a PR department makes Musk and Tesla look iconoclastic, which helps the brand. I don't think anyone views it that way. I don't think certainly no reporter says, wow, thank goodness they don't have someone for me to contact to get details from a story. So Tesla China, what do they do? Well, this is where they have videos like the one we saw a while back, where we got to see footage inside the factory to see what they're doing in there, how things are made. You know, what does this actually cost to put together? Not that much, I would argue. It's pretty cool. And it can be anything, you know. PR can be anything. We are getting down towards the end, so we've got quite a bit of time for questions. Because this topic isn't that big, but to me it's quite important. The other very big news is that in a Twitter thread today, Holmars had asked, was talking about FSD. Gail responded, wow, Model Y coming out of Giga Texas. Do y'all have a date for the Gigafest? To which Elon said, April 1st. Bit concerning. I'm not sure if I want to book a ticket based on that. But I did say, hoping to get an invite. I'll get my butt there either way, but it's a long haul to watch from the off-ramp. Now here's the problem. I am quite convinced I will not get an invite. Not because Elon doesn't want me to have one, but because he will never know that I need one and that I should probably have one. He won't know that I've got 80, 90 videos about Giga Texas, that I can draw the floor plan, including the number of floors, on a piece of paper right now. I mean, I could ballpark how many columns there are. I can tell you what percentage is single floor versus two floor, and so on. By the way, 58% two floors. So I would love a PR department that I could just reach out to and say, hey man, pretty please, with a cherry on top. But the truth is, I need them a lot more than they need me. So what do you guys think? Do they need it? Do they need a PR department? Would they benefit from it? From the relatively small expense, especially compared to the revenue. Now, Fred did say in this article that apparently they were getting hundreds of emails a day. We don't have to respond to hundreds. There aren't hundreds of valid questions a day. You could spend just an hour in the morning putting out an FAQ from yesterday's emails. That might have been helpful. Quick thanks to my Patreons who get early access, bonus content, an ad-free experience, access to my trackers, and help keep me going. The YouTube algorithm is very punishing lately especially. I have friends who are subscribers who told me that even though they have the bell icon turned on, they no longer see my videos. And I've had that experience with Brad Sloan in Texas. I have the bell turned on, and I would not have found his video today if I did not search it out specifically, which is very frustrating for me, for Brad, for everybody. I know there's a lot of people I subscribe to that I just don't see anymore, and I get weird suggestions. So let's get into the Q&A. Yeah, run some B-roll there. How is everybody? You ready for a good weekend? Oh. I'll just put this up. Why not? Why not? Why not? I mean, I can think of 100 reasons, but why not? Oh, the poll. Will I get an invite? Consensus says yes. Thanks, guys. I hope you're right. Sound is good. Yes, they do need PR. I agree. Drinking. Oh, that sounds so good right now. The cops were telling tales on that one, too. Oh, the cops were telling tales. This is in regards to the fire. Yeah, they were saying that it took an outrageous amount of water, an outrageous number of fire trucks, and an outrageous amount of time to put the fire out. And we later found out that wasn't true. That was not true at all. Oh, drinking in regards to the crash. Well, that makes sense too. Booze and speed is a bad combo. Yeah. Generally speaking, just any intoxicant and any motor vehicle is a bad combo. That's one reason I'm so excited about full self-driving. There are people are bad drivers. People get distracted. Full self-driving doesn't stop to look at its phone, doesn't take its eyes off the road in all directions, doesn't get sleepy. Speed has never hurt or killed anyone. It's that sudden stop. Yeah, jumping off a building won't kill you either. It's that last fraction of an inch that really gets you. They don't need PR. They need a department of factual Tesla information. Yeah, but I think they need something. And it wouldn't even cost the full price because this department could then be put in charge of things like the events. You know, you're going to hold a Plaid event, you're going to hold a Giga Texas grand opening. They could do that as well. Spin control could definitely help. Yeah. I think they need a PR team, but at the end of the day, they have more orders than their production can meet. Yes. I mean, that's the only reason I would argue that they wouldn't need it. But man, you know, in the article from Electric, Fred really made it sound like he'd had a mixed relationship with them over the years. They didn't like that he had leaked some stories that they didn't want out just yet. I've never heard from anyone I made many attempts to contact Tesla in advance of my road trip, letting them know I was coming to Fremont. I was coming to Giga Nevada. And I went to those places, and I shot remotes from outside the fence, which, again, I need them more than they need me. So when I worked at Arby's, we had room dedicated to checking social media. Oh, wow. It worked well when Pharrell had 10-gallon hat during Pharrell? Yeah. During the presentation, and the person on duty got a raise for his tweet. Oh, yeah, that hat is the Arby's hat. Nice. Yeah, not unlike the short sellers. Absolutely. The safety stats would be awesome to promote. So that's what I forgot to mention. Just putting out, you could have Fun Fact Friday, where every Friday you say, here's our fun fact. We've installed this much solar on the roof of our factories. Here's a fun fact. This week alone, this many miles were driven on FSD. Anything. It can be anything. And these are numbers that right now we're getting them, but they're all speculation, and they're all from nobody clowns like me. People who buy Tesla or plan to buy Tesla do not need PR. They know what they want. Yes. Well, wouldn't it be nice to have the ability to plant good seeds early on? And now is early on for a lot of people. They even circled in the parking lot of a charger station waiting for it to run out. Yes, the New York Times circled in the parking lot to make it run out. The PR person would have to be someone who really gets Elon. Well, that person would be easy to find. Everyone knows who Elon is. Certainly everyone in the publicity industry. You just have to... It'd be someone easy to find. I've heard suggestions that Rob Maurer should get it. And I think he'd be fantastic. But I don't think he'd do it. I think the pay cut would be too extreme. But boy, to have that on your resume... maybe he would. It'd be a tough opportunity to pass up. They could certainly offer the job to me. But I would have to warn you, I'd say yes. I think the press fails even when led to stories. Depends who you mean by the press. Ads make them blind to Tesla. I don't think so. Tesla generates headlines no matter what. And yeah, one thing I've had, so I've worked in publications in the past, and one thing that we would see is they would come up with exclusives for different outlets. Here's a little, like the Fun Fact Friday kind of thing. They'd come up with 5 fun facts and give them to 5 different publications. So everybody had an exclusive to run. Most of the publications didn't run them, but it was worth a shot. And it did make them all feel valued. PR is based on lies, and at some level, everyone knows that. I mean, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. It's about putting your best foot forward. Millennials will be the best robotaxi customers. Maybe so, but I think even younger will be good customers, and I think the oldest and most mobility challenged will also be great customers for it. Jeff Zonkster thinks April Fools. Maybe. Boy, if it is, because I'm going to be booking my ticket probably tonight. He may have actually used your vids. Yeah, I hope so. Because the amount of work I put into them would make them worth looking at, especially the Giga Texas ones, especially the Progress ones. Yeah, maybe. Why hasn't work begun on the building west of Giga Texas across the highway? We don't know. We don't know what the building was supposed to be. At one point, we'd heard credible rumors that it was going to be office buildings. But it's possible they don't need the space yet. That's my guess, is they don't need the space yet. Let's hope he opens it up. Yeah, that would be... Oh, yeah. Have I tried DMing him on the Twitter? No, but I'm not sure you're able to DM him if he's not following you, and he's not following me, but I will certainly try that. If anyone can DM him on Twitter, he will never see mine because there are a million unread DMs. Yeah. I'm in agreement they need a communications team at a minimum. Something for the supportive YouTubers to be able to reach out to would be better than that one very busy guy at the top. He's too busy. Just give us periodic B-roll so we're not all running the same junk over and over. It's exhausting. It's mind-numbing as a viewer. Oh, they should hire me. Absolutely. Jeff Songster says, see me Tuesday. We're going to both be at the Arkimoto event in Eugene, Oregon. See you there. And that goes out to everybody. I will be there. See me there. Don't forget to turn on the bell on the new channel. Just noticed I hadn't hit it. Thank you, Charlie. Charlie's great. He always comes in and just says thank you. And I know it's silly, but I do appreciate it. Thank you, Charlie. All right. Ready for the weekend? Yep. Okay. Awesome. Tesla needs to send Brian a first-class ticket. They don't need to do that. I've got enough frequent flyer miles I can get my butt there myself. Don't need a hotel, don't need nothing, just need to know I can get in. I believe that all of the Texas drone pilots need a ticket. Jeff, Joe, Brad, Randy, everybody. Brian Rashetsky, although I haven't seen him around. Sometimes he pops in. Everybody. Well, that's about the right amount of time. Any last-minute thoughts before we go? There are no super chats today because this channel is not monetized. It can't be till I get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of have-been watched time, which at this pace is not going well, but it should improve. It should improve. I mean, very fun. Very fun. So guys, what did I miss or misunderstand? Leave me all your thoughts, your wisdom, your genius. Hello, Gil. You made it. And stay tuned. Stay juicy. Can't wait to hear from you clever robots from Giga Texas. Who knows?